I got to the professional game at 21 years of age. I was doing my first League Two game, and I was doing League One and League Two for 2 years. And then I was like, well, I'm now technically only 3 promotions away from the Premier League. And I've just took it so seriously and just tried to progress. And it was a lot of hard work. It sounds like the path was quite easy. It was a lot of hard work. There was a lot of setbacks through that career. But I could always smell it. And it was just that telling off and just me just looking at myself, just adapting, going from the unprofessional kid with a dream. So the dream that I had, I've not been able to achieve, but I've been able to switch my lifestyle around, and I'm still able to work in professional football, and live other people's dreams. Now, people text me and get in touch with me on a regular basis and say how much they'd love to do what I do. And when I got to the championship and when I got the promotion onto the championship list, it was I never knew that I was the only sort of black official, or that I was the highest operating black official. I never thought about that. I just knew that I'm now at the championship. I'm now one promotion away from the Premier League, and if I get to Premier League, oh wow, that'll be a dream come true. I wanted to be a Premier League player. Now I'm shaking hands with Premier League players, and when I got promoted onto a championship list, it was 2014. It was 2014. I got the email to say from next season onwards, you'll just be officiating on the championship, and I literally just broke down in tears because when I was 17 years of age, I did not deserve anything like what I've got now. I now get to operate on the championship list, and that's what I've been doing. So at 24, my life changed, and I was able to just work full time on the championship. In terms of my life on the other side of things, so I said that I wanted to be a professional footballer, and that was my dream. And when I sort of at 17, 18, when I sort of realised that I probably couldn't achieve that dream, I had to look at other options and other avenues. And again, sporty background, I thought, I could be a personal trainer. This would be great, personal trainer, work in the gym all the time. And at 18, I took a personal trainer course, and I worked full time as a personal trainer for literally 5 to 6 months, and it was awful. And I'll link that back to my professionalism, because as a personal trainer, it sounds good. It sounds like you get to lift weights, and it just sounds like the perfect job. But as a personal trainer, you're running your own business. And I've already touched on the fact that at 17, 18, I wasn't professional enough to even clean my boots. So how could I run my own business at 17, 18? And I just wasn't good enough. I wasn't cut out to be a personal trainer. I wasn't cut out for the marketing or the advertising or the client retention or running my own business or taking cash off someone, but then realizing that if they pay me today, they might not be here next week. So I wasn't professional enough to deal with cash flow issues. So I did that 5 to 6 months, and I just thought that being a personal trainer was, you go to the gym, you lift weights, you get someone fit, but it isn't. You're running your own business. And so at 18, I've ruined that opportunity because I wasn't professional enough. And I look back and I'm like, oh, wow, why did I ruin that? But I ruined that opportunity because I wasn't professional enough as well. And that was a bit damning for me, because looking back, I'm like, why couldn't I just get myself into gear? Why couldn't I just click? Why couldn't I just ask my peers? I was working with people that have been doing personal training for years. Why couldn't I just ask? Why wasn't I professional enough to just ask the right questions or learn or find out why I was going wrong? And I just didn't know. So I gave up. I quit. And I needed something. And again, it was my mum. She says, "Oh, why don't you apply for the police?" So I applied for the police, and I did that for 4.5 years. So at 19, I applied, and I didn't end up getting the job until I was 20. And at 20, I was working for the police. I was a PCSO, so I wasn't a full-time police officer, so you don't have to all end the course straight away. But I was a PCSO, and I did that for 4.5 years. And that, again, I've spoken about the guy that gave me the sort of kick at the arse, that sort of 17, 18. But the police really woke me up. When I joined in March, and it was a lot of training. But then in the June of that year, see, lads go on lads holidays, as they say, and I went to Mali and Ayia Napa, and I just again thought that I could be immature, live life with the lads, and I did that. I had a great time with the lads and done loads of drunk as much as you can, play a lot of drinking games, do whatever you can, and I've come back, and I came back, let's say on a Sunday. I don't know the exact date, but let's say I came back on a Sunday, and then went to work on, let's say, the Monday, and my first job was we had to pass a death message to a mum of a daughter who had just gone to Ibiza, and she fell off the balcony and died. So it was like an Interpol death message that we had to pass over, and I froze. That was the first official job that I had to do. Tell someone that their daughter's passed away, and she won't be coming back because she drunk too much. Thought it was fun to jump off a balcony, and unfortunately she's passed away. For me, I was just looking back at, well, I was fighting on the balcony literally 2 days ago. I was drinking as much as this girl, and I froze again, and I just didn't think I was ready. But the best thing about being in the police is I was now in a career where I couldn't just quit. I couldn't just give up. They'd done everything for me. They gave me they put the right people around me. I had to look up to peers. I was very, very young. Obviously, I joined the police at 20 years of age. I was with people that had done 30 years in the police. I was with people that it was their whole life. So I was with the most professional police, the most professional people in society that really told me and knuckled me down. So when I was doing silly things or not taking things seriously, or when I was trying to grow up, I had to grow up. The police and I had the right people around me to just help me grow up, and it was perfect for me. And looking back, that helped my refereeing career a lot, because I knew how to manage people a lot on the field. I knew how to deal with certain personalities. I knew how to tackle certain situations. My decision making had to be perfect, had to be spot on. When I was working in the police, we had incidents all the time. I can't talk about too many incidents, but we had incidents all the time where you just had to be quick thinking, and always deal with stuff. So yeah, I did that for 4.5 years, and it's probably the best thing I ever did in my life. And I did that till 24. So coming up to when I got the letter with Select Group 2, and I had been on the professional game. So I was on League 1, League 2 from 21, from when I turned 21. And it was awkward because I knew that, okay, I'm on League 1, League 2 games, and I could see a career with football. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I could see a career with football. But I can't work every Saturday because I'm working for the police, and they obviously need me on a Saturday. And it was a very tough situation that I found myself in. So I was having to use all my holidays. So we got 28 holidays, or you could work overtime and get your holidays. I was having to use all my holidays just so I could take every Saturday off, and I could do my games on a Saturday and still pursue my dream in terms of football. And it was fine to an extent, but then there was times when there was events or obviously serious incidents where I had to let football down because of the police, and obviously the police was my job, police was my career, and that was quite awkward for me. And then I had a girlfriend at the time, and she obviously wanted to do she wanted to do boyfriend and girlfriend stuff. She wanted to go on holidays or go to events or do stuff on a weekend, and I was working all week, and then all my holiday was used up on football. So it was putting a strain on that. And then things like Christmas. There was one Christmas where we was doing a Christmas together where I was meant to be around her family's house, and then there was a concern for welfare job on Christmas Eve, and we found a dead body in the property, and I was meant to finish work at 4. I didn't leave work till 2 a.m. and I've had to let her down on Christmas. It sounds like a rubbish excuse when I'm sending her a text and trying to say, oh, I've had to stay on at work, can't leave family, who have just cooked for me and just waited for me. And it was putting a lot of strain on things, and I had a huge decision. I spoke to my mum about it, and I had to look at myself, and I had to, do I leave a career, give up this career for football? And a lot of people talk about risk and the fear of failure. I took the risk to quit the police. It was, I handed my resignation in March of 2000, and 2014, I think. I can't remember the exact date. It was just before I got the email for football. I didn't know that football was. I didn't know football was going to pan out how it did, and it panned out perfectly. But I think I must have handed my resignation in probably March of 2014, and my thought process was, football will always be there. I'm young. I'm good. I've changed everything. I'm professional now. People like me. I can see this now as a career, and I'm still young enough to probably go back to what I want to go back to. And I took the risk, and I thought, if I believe in myself, I can push through and get onto the Championship, get onto the Premier League. And if I quit the police, I could probably get a 9-to-5 job where I've got more time with family, friends. I've got more time to go to the gym. I've got more time to then just focus on the one goal that I really want to get to. I wanted to be a professional footballer. I know that had to change, and now I could be working the professional game in some capacity. So I quit the police. I quit the career, 4.5 years, and I just quit. Left on great terms, and I gave that up so I could fight for this dream and have more time to just fight for this dream and really put everything in. I then and see, people believe in God, people believe in religion, people believe in fate, people believe in whatever they want to believe in. Literally 2 months later, I get an email saying, congratulations on your performances for the last season. You will be promoted onto a Championship list, and it just fell so perfectly, because I've now quit this career, but another career has just fell on my. I've just landed on my feet, and I've got this other career. At the time, financially, so when the Championship list formed, the financial package wasn't great, so it wasn't as good as it is now for me to only do that. And I knew that I needed to get another job, but that was fine, because then I was just able to get a part-time job. So I had a security badge, like an SIA license, and I was able to just get a part-time job where I was able to pick and choose when I worked, just to top up the money that I was getting from the Championship and the football list. And I did that for 2 years. And literally 3 years ago to this day, the TV money, that everything's come in, they've given everyone a package now, because they wanted everyone to be full-time, so everyone can go to the gym, so everyone can be in the best shape, so everyone can learn, develop, and really focus on obviously the Championship. And and for the last 3 years, it's now been a full-time sort of occupation for us, and that's all I do now on a regular basis, which is great. This is the weirdest thing ever, because when I was coming through in terms of football, there was Uriah Rennie, who finished in 2008. I didn't really look up to Uriah Rennie, because, in my opinion, I looked up to the footballers. I looked up to Thierry Henry and Jimmy Floyd Hassel. I looked up to the sort of black players, and so seeing a black referee, I wasn't that bothered, and it never really stuck out to me, because my dream was obviously to play football. Uriah Rennie obviously finished in 2008, and then how it fell is I then started to progress through the system, but I never had anyone to look up to. Coming through, I noticed it, because I could be in an environment with my friends who the majority of them are from black or minority ethnic background, and it's just culturally, you just act different. You say certain things, say certain words, and you act in a certain way. Where I then put myself in a refereeing environment, and people would look at me a bit strange, or say that I'm a bit too boisterous, and say that I'm a bit unprofessional, or just look at me as if I'm different. And I never clocked. I just thought, oh, maybe it's me. And I was just coming through the system, and then one of the biggest things is people always knew my name, and I was like, how do you always know me? And they're like, well, I've worked with you before, or see you before, I've seen you on this, or I've heard about you. And again, looking back, I was like, how? And then as you come through, you start to realise that, and it was obviously the fact that I was standing out and I was coming through the system. But again, I never thought nothing of it. Get to the top, and so it was only when I started going on television, where my games were on TV, and I was on TV. That's when I started to really feel the pressure, because that's when people started to get in touch and say that you are potentially a role model. People started to let me know that, oh, you're the only one, you're the highest qualified, and then I started to put more pressure on myself, because to tell myself that I'm a role model, and to really appreciate the fact that I'm a role model, or I'm potentially doing this now for the next generation. I now know that I have to make sure that my performances are A1, and I have to make sure that the way I live my life is A1, and I can't let the next generation down. So if obviously I would never go back to who I was or how unprofessional I was at 17, 18, but if I go and start making errors, or if I let my belly get a bit too big and not look like I'm athletic enough to chase players, or if I seen partying or drinking, or if I'm seen doing something that's not right, that's now going to affect the next generation. It's not about me. My career's probably got 20 years left, and I could quit, or I could quit tomorrow, and that doesn't affect me. It's the next generation. So it's only when I started to realize that I am in this position that the pressure I put on myself is now not even for me. It's for the next generation. It's for the people on this call who might think, well, I could be a referee, and everything I do now is for the next generation, because I don't want the next generation to feel how I feel in terms of a bit of isolation, or a bit of, I mean, I've had to change. I've had to change the way I speak. I've had to change certain words. I've had to change how I approach myself. I've had to change how I operate certain conversations. We obviously go to training camps a lot, and it's quite good, but I'd always take cocoa butter out with me, and just little things like that. And I've had, I have to explain what cocoa butter is and why I use cocoa butter, and just little conversations like that I've had to have, or the fact that a lot of my peers and a lot of my colleagues have been fortunate enough to come from perfect backgrounds with two family members around and everything like that. I've always had to explain, oh no, my dad doesn't come to my games because I don't live with my dad. He's alive, but we don't really speak. I don't know if he's okay, but I everything I do, I've had to change, and I've had to think about, well, why is it like that? But hopefully the next generation, because they're not standing up, hopefully the next generation can just feel at ease and feel comfortable in the environment. And everything I do is just hopefully, I don't mind being in this position, and I'll happily be in this position for as long as possible, just so the next generation can obviously be comfortable in this environment. You start, I think, when you pass a course, if you're under 16, you're a level 9, just because you're not allowed legally to do men's football. As soon as you get to 16, you then become a level 7. So at level 7, it's grassroots football, and then it's promotions from then. So you go level 7, 6, 5, 4. 4, you start touching on semi-professional football. 3, you're in the middle at semi-professional football. 2, it's conference, and level 1 is professional football. In my career, got to level 3, and then I chose to become and take the assistant referee route. So I was doing sort of semi-professional football. I did that for 4 years, just refereeing semi-professional football. And then obviously in 2014, that's when I got the email to say from next season onwards, if you want, you can be a full-time assistant referee. So from level 7 to level 4, it's just about locally being good enough, and observers coming to your games and getting you promoted. When you get to level 4, to get promoted, you need club marks and observers. So it's just a tiny bit harder, but it just means you need to please the clubs a bit more. So from 4 and 3, that's what needs to happen. From 3 to 2, it's more about observers again, but you still need to get good club marks. And then when you get to a professional game, it's observers and clubs, but the clubs have a bigger weigh in. So the clubs are worth like 70% because they are the professional clubs. They're obviously what's funding League One and League Two. When you get to the Championship and the Premier League, I know your question's about when do I get to Premier League, but when you get to the Championship and Premier League, every decision is now scrutinised. So every throw-in I give, every corner I give, if the kickoff time's 3 o'clock and it's late, everything we do now as officials on the Championship and obviously the Premier League is scrutinised, or judged whether it's right or wrong, and it's given a weighting. So you basically have to get 100%. If you don't, then obviously you'll get a final score from every game, and then that will put you in like a league table. So we're in league tables like the clubs, and I'm in a league table. So for me to get promoted to Premier League, I know that I need to get 100% on every one of my games, and I need to finish as high as possible to get promoted to the Premier League. I've been close for the last couple of years, and all I've got to do is just work as hard as possible, keep learning, keep doing homework, keep assessing my performances, and see what happens, and just try and get as high as possible, finish in the top spot. So there's nothing from the FA, if I remember correctly, just because it's probably seen as a hobby. But as soon as you get to a professional game, it's literally perfect. You cannot go wrong. They would do absolutely everything and anything for you. But I mean, currently, obviously with coronavirus, it's obviously amazing at the moment. But they've got doctors, they've got sports psychologists, and they literally know everything about you. So my tailored training program for myself, because luckily I'm quite fit and I'm quite healthy, is just go to the gym and do whatever. But I know there's other people who, and if you've got an injury, they'll tailor a physio program for you. They'll get massages booked for you, and they'll look after you health wise. It is quite hectic, and it's a traveling as well, and it's staying in hotels. I find that, so every Friday night, obviously prepare for a game on the next day. I do my preparation early, so tomorrow I'll do my preparation. I'll be in the gym at 10 a.m. And I'll do all my homework. So do homework on games. So I'll just look at. So I've got Cardiff v Middlesbrough on Saturday. I'll just look at Middlesbrough's last game. I look at Cardiff's last game, and I'll do that 11, 12ish in the gym, if Wi-Fi works. Get all that done, and then as soon as that's done, I've got the whole day then to just chill out and just think about myself whilst I drive, or whilst I drive to obviously Cardiff, or whilst but that will then be my chill. And then obviously game on Saturday, and then Saturday night I'll chill. So I won't watch Match of the Day, I won't watch the Quest football show. I'll just, Saturday night will either be my girlfriend, or I'll just be chilling, or go to see my friends or whatever. And then Sunday, I'll either pick up the phone to my coach, and we start back up. So I'll pick up the phone to my coach. This happened in my game. I got this wrong. Why did I get this wrong? Get it boxed off as soon as possible. Or if it's a mental block, so let's say it's an offside where I knew it was offside, but I didn't flag him or something like that, I'd ring up my sports psychologist, ask him why was I thinking like that. He'd tell me the answer, or he'd go through it, get that done as soon as possible. As soon as that's done, I've got the whole of Sunday to then just sit, focus, and park it, and go from there. Because it's so accessible, you've got your phone, just type in whatever you want. You find everything straight away. It's so accessible. I got put off Instagram when I started getting messages from your neck of the woods. Actually, it was Barnsley. There was a game in Barnsley about 4 years ago. It was on TV, and I came back to my phone at the end of the game, and it was probably about 20 to 30 messages just from people just found me on Instagram, and they're just telling me what they thought of me. Obviously, it wasn't nice things, so no one liked me. And I received that, and I was put off Instagram from that. I was like, oh, this is awful. Social media is not great. So that put me off social media. And then you look at other games, and you look at other instances, and obviously I'm on Google. So if I type my name in Google, I can find stuff about myself on Google. And it got to a point where if I scrolled for long enough, I'd find racist abuse about me on Google. I'd find people saying whatever they wanted to say about me. I had people trying to threaten my family and stuff like that on Google, and I was like, this isn't great, so I need to stop doing this. So I do listen to it, but then I'd look at all the good stuff, because people do say nice things, but for every one good thing, there's probably 10 bad things. So then you get yourself into a habit of, okay, there's going to be a good thing in a minute. Quick, let me find the good one again. Let me find the good one again. So because it's so accessible, I do still to this day look for stuff. Last night's game was on TV. Sheffield Wednesday. We did play. Sheffield Wednesday Brentford was on TV. First thing I did when I got out of the changing room is go onto Twitter, and I typed in on Twitter just to see is anyone talking about anything. So I still do look, just because I'm a perfectionist, but I do need to get out of that habit. The PGMI are really big on integrity, so you have to declare if you've ever had a season ticket, or family members have ever had a season ticket somewhere, and if you're a fan of a football club. So I am, and I declared that football club. very early on, and I just cannot ever come into contact with that football club, which is great. I did fear, because the football club I support has a lot of fan rivalries, so I did fear that might affect like basically everything, because the team I support has loads of made up rivalries, but it literally hasn't.